As you step into the dim, hushed room, you bring in with you a dossier of scouting reports, a pen, a pad, laptop, and a monster cup of coffee. It's just you, your desktop, a big whiteboard, and the 2024 draft class of quarterbacks on a spreadsheet. You are trying to find the next QB for the New England Patriots. Despite what's been touted on social media and by sports media hyperbole, the essence of the game remains unchanged, especially at the quarterback position, believe it or not. We are still looking for precision across all levels, finesse across all levels, football acumen, composure in the pocket, and ability to manage the offense. Then you have to find out if the player has a profound love for football, a high on-field intelligence, and a resolute drive to win. If these qualities align with the requisite physical attributes, success in the league is foreseeable. Then, you have to try to find some development QBs that have the touch, the arm strength, and the pocket presence, firmly believing adept coaching can cultivate NFL-level passers from these core attributes. Typically, what separates the first-rounders from the third is a keen vision at every level, consistently applying precision and finesse in every throw, plus robust arm strength. There can be also IQ, adeptness in the pocket, and the capacity to extend plays through mobility or strategic movement. When scouts get this right, a team's success is probable. However, scouting NFL QB prospects remains an arduous task, bearing the weight of missed opportunities like any other position. Nevertheless, as long as the essential traits and football intelligence are present, a successful draft is within reach. Now, let's talk about the key attributes that we tend to use when we grade QBs. First, the obvious, arm talent. This encompasses a quarterback's proficiency in being accurate and delivering powerful throws, spanning deep passes, intermediate routes, and short throws executed with precision and velocity. Next, decision-making. The quarterback's decision-making prowess holds paramount importance. This encompasses their adeptness in reading defenses, making swift choices, and steering clear of turnovers. Next, number 3, football IQ. A quarterback's football acumen is pivotal for making rapid decisions and adaptations on the field. This also encompasses just the pure raw data and knowledge about defensive coverages, comprehending offensive schemes, and implementing those adjustments at the line of scrimmage. After that, leadership. Given that the quarterback frequently assumes the mantle as the team leader, their leadership abilities are a paramount significance. This involves motivating teammates, effective communication, and maintaining composure under pressure. Number 5, mobility. A quarterback's agility can be an asset. Speed enables them to prolong plays and deliver throws while on the move. Nevertheless, it's crucial to acknowledge that more than just mobility is required. You have to have sound footwork, adept pocket presence, and astute decision-making on when to use your legs are vital. Last but not least, character. The character of a quarterback carries considerable weight as they must navigate the pressure and scrutiny that is inherent to the position. This encompasses their work ethic, competitive spirit, and capacity to handle adversity. In the process of scouting a quarterback, a comprehensive evaluation of all these factors coupled with the player's overall on-field performance is imperative. Additionally, it's crucial to take into account the specific needs of the team and whether the quarterback's skills and attributes align with the team's offensive system and style of play. Now, when we look at Mac, he has a subpar arm strength due to terrible mechanics. His decision-making has not been great this year. His football IQ is not really ostensible this year. Leadership, not really evident on the field or on the sideline. I can't say anything about the practice field or in the locker room though. Mobility, actually pretty good until he tries to throw off platform. Character, I really think Mac is trying to win games and do his best for the team. Seriously, I feel bad for him. But he's also known to be a little bit of a brat. I think we've seen enough to consider drafting a QB in this upcoming draft, especially considering the depth of this class and the top-level talent available. Let's take a look at my top 5 QBs that can be targeted in the first round or in the early second round. Of course, leading it off, there's Caleb Williams, who's 6'1", 218 out of USC. He's 21 years old. Caleb has emerged as the most recent standout NFL quarterback prospect, boasting 2 consecutive seasons with an impressive average of 9 yards per attempt, with his efficiency rating going above 160, and countless electrifying plays. Now, Caleb has exceptional arm strength. This enables him to have precise passes across all levels of the field. One of his most notable attributes is his off-platform throws. One of the things about him is he's capable of generating a lot of velocity on short and intermediate throws, even without the opportunity to line his body or plant his feet. Another great aspect of his game is that he guides his receivers upfield and frequently hits the appropriate shoulder for them to maintain their momentum, hitting somebody in stride to get those extra yards. He exhibits remarkable proficiency outside of structured plays. The guy's a playmaker. He also displays commendable pocket mobility and a willingness to keep his focus downfield while buying time for his receivers. You got a bad O-line, this guy's the dude. He's also an effective scrambler, benefiting from his quickness, though he does not rely solely on his legs to move the chains. Now, on the downside, notably, his physical stature is not ideal. He lacks the height and possesses less than a robust frame compared to the other QBs in this draft class. He is prone to getting a little antsy in the pocket and breaking out prematurely. He could refine his decision-making skills between being a playmaker and just opting for moving the chains. This might be a problem if he's really not absorbing pre-snap reads of coverages. Overall, I still see him as the top talent in this draft. Honestly, when I look, I think there are about maybe 5 teams that would trade away their chance to pick Caleb right now. That's it. That means all the other teams in the NFL would probably take this guy if they had the shot. Next on my list is Drake Maye, 6'4", 230 pounds out of North Carolina. Now, he possesses the ideal physique for a quarterback. He's tall, well-built, and exhibits exceptional mobility for his size. Seamlessly layers his velocity, the touch, and the precision, delivering passes in the tight windows. This guy knows how to pass a ball. He exhibits competitive toughness and composure, evident both in his pocket presence and when he's running the ball. He's got elite arm talent with impressive velocity and, more importantly, a quick and precise release. It is tight and accurate. This guy delivers precise throws beyond the sidelines and into tight coverage effortlessly. Now, he's got underrated agility and lateral quickness and evasive skills. He's a big dude, but he can move. Now, in terms of anticipation, it's consistent. Whether it's reacting to defensive breaks or reading zones, he sees it happening before it happens. Another thing is he's effective at progressing through his reads from left to right, syncing his eyes with his footwork. One of the big things about him is he has pocket presence. He has less than ideal offensive line, and he's able to demonstrate exceptional spatial awareness and outlet recognition while maneuvering through a pocket. Now, on the downside, he has room for improvement in terms of mechanical refinement, particularly his footwork and driving through the base. He usually uses just his upper body. He just tends to have a narrow base. Now, this coupled with inadequate hip drive can result in passes being delivered low or behind the receivers. That is true. His field vision and progression speed and anticipation do have room for growth. He's a younger dude. He just needs some more time to develop. But for me, Drake is my favorite QB in the class. His growth and physical attributes point to a very high ceiling, and his stats are solid considering his supporting cast. Plus, I think the Patriots might actually be in position to draft him. After that, we have Michael Penix Jr., 6'2", 221, Out of Washington, he's a senior. Now, for his strengths, Penix demonstrates exceptional decision-making skills. He consistently makes sound choices on the field and avoids risky plays. He exhibits a keen ability to dissect defenses before and after the snap. He empowers his playmakers, affording them opportunities to excel at the catch point by entrusting them with ball placement. He knows his receivers. He has subtle footwork within the pocket, which provides the necessary time to locate a clear passing lane. And he showcases a calculated approach to his game. Another thing is that Penix has triumphed over adversity. But that leads us to our first downside risk, which is very notable. He has 4 season-ending injuries on his dossier, including torn ACLs in 2018 and 2020. He's also had shoulder injuries in 2019 and 2021. This might have impacted his athleticism and power. Another thing to make note is that on the onset of the 2024 season, Penix will be turning 24. Keep in mind, Mac is 25. Now, the next big glaring issue for me for Penix is his mechanics. They are a serious issue, which leads to issues in his arm strength and accuracy. This is very evident in cross-field passes or deep throws, which can lead to opportunities for defenders to position themselves effectively. Another thing is, while he does appear to be effective near the goal line, Penix doesn't pose a significant rushing threat. His agility and bursts are somewhat lacking. Again, it might be due to those injuries, but it makes it challenging to evade defenders in open space. Another thing to make note is his career has seen lots of fluctuations. He looks good, he looks bad. So far this year, he's looked very solid and things are looking great. But compared to the other top quarterbacks, keep in mind, he leans heavily on his playmakers. He's got Rome Odunze, arguably top 3 wide receivers in the whole entire draft, going to be a first rounder. McMillan, probably a second. Jalen Polk, probably another second rounder. He has got a better supporting cast than Caleb, Maye, Nix, and Leonard. In fact, the only 2 guys that might have comparable supporting casts to him would probably be Quinn Ewers out of Texas and Jordan Travis out of Florida State. This does pose a problem, is can he do this with weaker supporting cast? To me, he's another game manager more than he is a dynamic playmaker capable of single-handedly driving an offense. Still, his play thus far this season has him in the QB3 spot right now. But his grade is a level or 2 lower than Caleb and Drake, in my opinion. I would consider Penix in second if his play holds up and his combine testing supports that. But I think his medicals is going to be a big red flag for a lot of teams. Number 4, Bo Nix, 6'2", 225 out of Oregon. Now, Bo is a distinguished athlete with a solid build, and he's got decent speed, agility relative to his size. He possesses a proficient arm that enables him to make accurate throws even when he's off balance, particularly on downfield targets. Notably, he exhibits notable velocity on short and intermediate passes. Basically, he could put some zip on it for his size. He did show notable improvement in his passing mechanics, specifically in terms of speed and consistency. Now, one of the things I really noticed about him is that he's releasing the ball at ear level now, which is going to minimize the risk of deflections at the line of scrimmage. Now, in terms of vision and focus, he's able to maintain it downfield while maneuvering under pressure. He does a really great job at that. And he also presents a legitimate threat as a rushing quarterback. Now, on the downside, he looks to have peaked in many ways. And his deep passes tend to fall short of their targets sometimes. He just lacks that necessary power and the precision and loft to get there. Does have room for refinement in both his pre- and post-snap processing. He also displays a propensity to leave the pocket prematurely. He just wants to get out of there even when he's getting adequate blocking from his offensive line. To me, Bo Nix just seems to be medium on everything. Nothing amazing, but nothing terrible. I do think he is fighting with Penix for QB3, but the last half of the season and the combine should reveal where he is tracking. Number 5, Riley Leonard, 6'4", 212 out of Duke. Now, he possesses a prototypical build and exhibits exceptional physical attributes for a quarterback. He's probably the best athlete at the QB position in this draft class. He demonstrates impressive arm strength and delivering powerful throws across the field. One of his best attributes is he's instinctive in navigating the pocket, weaving through lanes, and maintaining composure under pressure. He delivers clean and concise rotational throws when he's in rhythm. He maintains awareness on checkdown options, and he can quickly adjust when faced with a blitz. My favorite attribute about him is his competitive toughness and willingness to engage on contact as a runner. Now, on the downside, his arm strength is good, but his mechanics are limiting his velocity. He struggles with consistent composure in tight pockets, leading to mechanical issues when he's congested. His footwork can be erratic and uncontrolled in high-pressure situations, and he tends to hesitate when evaluating passing windows. Overall, big upside, but very raw. He is currently injured, so it will be interesting how the rest of the season pans out. I have him in the second round right now, but his physical attributes, tenacity, and drive might convince NFL teams he can lead their franchise. All right, let's go look at some tape. All right, starting off with Caleb. Looking for his vision, how he handles himself, right? Pocket presence, just that instinct, right? The playmaker ability. And this is a great example, right? He gives himself enough time for his guys to get open. Gives his guys enough time to get open. Has good vision. Look, he keeps the ball, realizes he's got some space. He's like really just one guy he's got to beat to get the first down. He's got that. Saw the guy coming, amputates his form enough. Nice quick release. Again, watch. Sees the pressure coming. Yep, got to get rid of it. Can't do a big windup. Not a great speed, not a lot of velocity, not a great ball, but he did what he had to. Sees that guy coming, realizes he's got space, got a nice little channel, an alley to get up through. Gives it a shot, makes it all the way. Helps when no one wants to kill you, too. No one wants to be the guy who takes out Caleb. They could have really, they could have killed him there. Oy. Anyway. Nice step up. Look at this. Beautiful. I mean, he's got a couple decent linemen here, but the reality is he's not like the other. I mean, a lot of the other guys have some solid offensive lines. Like J.J. McCarthy has an absolute beast offensive line. Oh, nice move there. So he puts the brakes on because that's where he knew the defender was going to beat him where he wanted to go, right? So he puts the brakes on, and he knows the defender is going to put a harder brake on than he is because he thinks he might go back the other way. He still has enough momentum. Nice throw. Off the back foot still. Off platform, obviously, right? Completely off balance. But for a right-handed thrower, you still got to push off that right foot. So he's going to turn his hips just enough, right? Sees the guy, turns his hips just enough, still pushes off that back foot. Therefore, you still have that right side or throwing side kinetic chain on that side. It's not obviously a perfect throw. Still almost overthrew him, though. Crazy. Guy's got a nice arm talent. All right, that's a good one. Let's go over that one. Knows how he's going to drop his right shoulder. He's still throwing up over the top, though, right? So he needs that sidearm type of throw, but the mechanics is to drop the right shoulder, but you still come up over the top, right? So you're not slinging it out wide. You're still doing an overhand throw, right? Nice vertical arm slot, but you've just dipped the shoulder, so it's, parallel to the ground, but not parallel to your shoulder. Nice throw there. Knows how he gets his hips into his throw. It's a nice little snap to his body, right? So there's a twist. Snap. Boom. Good throw. All right, let's do some Drake. Good touch there. Gets his shoulders at the angle he needs to throw at. Proper amount of power. Good rip there. Steps right into the throw. Steps into his throw. Not fades away from it. Step, rip. Good. Coming up over the shoulder. Good arm slot. Step. Good. Perfect. Nice little toss there. Nice throw. See, he can keep the ball. He's good with scrambling. It's just because he's got long legs. He doesn't look as quick, but he's powerful in the legs. He can move. It'll be interesting if they do, if all these guys go to the combine, if it would be him or Leonard with better feet. See their 40 times there. Nice work. Again, off balance. Same thing that Caleb did, right? Picking up his knees. Right, gets his shoulders squared up. Pushes off that right foot. Not as flexible as Caleb, but he was still able to pull it off. Much taller, obviously, too. He's got Caleb by, I think, a few inches. Which you can see in his arm delivery. It's smoother, comes up over the top. He has no problem throwing over his offensive line. He's not sitting there. He's not waiting for alleyways for the offensive line to open up so he can actually throw the ball. I mean, he's throwing over his dudes right there, right? Think about that. He's throwing over guys. He's not waiting for, alleyways to open up to deliver that ball. Pulls the left arm. Awesome slot. Notice how the arm comes across. He pronates his arm so his top of his hand's rotating over, right? That means the ball his hands came down the side of the ball. That's how he's putting this nice rotation, nice spiral to the ball. Nice catchable ball with the proper amount of power. Oh, yeah, this is against Miami. So you got Kitchens in there, Taylor's in there, James Williams is in there. I mean, Miami's a legit defense. 2 first-rounders and probably a second or third rounder in there. Not too many defenses can say that. Nice touch. There. All right, Michael Penix Jr. here. Now, my issue with Michael is that he has a sidearm throw, and it's a bad one. The elbow is way below. He W's his arms. We'll get to that in a minute. But it kind of prevents him to really being great over the middle. Has to, rely upon throwing to the sidelines a lot more. The middle throws are probably more about alleyways, like his offensive line creating spaces for him to slip it through. So he might have to wait. If he sees somebody open, he might have to wait for the guy to go further into his route before throwing the ball. See, like right there. Let's slow this down a little bit. Watch, that ball never gets above his helmet. His elbow never gets above his shoulder. And his right arm barely ever gets engaged here. So, watch his, well, he's a lefty, so you're going to have to watch his left arm. You're going to see the arm come back. Gets behind him. Now, what should be happening is you come up over the shoulder, right? That left arm, that left shoulder should elevate up. And it should be almost like a chopping action, right? The idea that you bring the axe up over the top. So up on over. And you should also see this right arm kind of come back, like drive back, like he's trying to elbow someone behind him. Power production. But look. Nothing there, and you can see his arm never got above his shoulder. So now he's going to throw like a dart. So all that pressure's on that left elbow. He's just darting it forward, and unfortunately he has to like fake put rotation on the ball by spinning it under it, right? So he's creating spin by putting the the spiral by spinning under the ball rather than coming naturally down and across his body, which is the natural way of putting spiral on the ball. And you can see his spiral. This is the thing. Note this. Look how fast the ball's going, but look at the spiral. Look how slow it is. So this guy's got an active arm, but look how fast the ball is, and then you could still look. You can see that it's losing its gyro. It's starting to wobble a little bit. It's not spinning as if you don't match the rotation, right? The speed of the ball, the speed of the rotation doesn't match the velocity of the ball moving forward. You're gonna have a gyroscopic issue. The ball's not gonna fly correctly, which is a major problem when it comes November, December, and in January in Foxborough when you got winds going on. I mean, that you could see the laces on that ball. It's not a blur. Whereas the other guys, so far, it's been a blur. Can't see any detail in the football. So that's a nice throw. He's got power. The arm is quote-unquote active. But the issue here is what happens when that elbow is not as springy anymore. Right? You got to use your body to do it. Talk about pitchers, like when they just arm it. That guy's got a live arm, but eventually that liveliness goes away. So let's go back to Indiana. And this is my kind of thesis on this, is that those shoulder surgeries, see like the speed on that ball and the rotation? I don't know if his injuries are just really killing him. So that's a good throw. And it looks like, yeah, see right there, he kind of brings that ball up a little bit higher. Now, I mean, this is one throw that I found, but it's not like I went digging for this, but even right there, he elevates that shoulder a little bit more and it comes down across. He's not doing like this side to side. All right, let's take a look at Caleb here. Here's a still. Notice how his shoulder, or his elbow's above his shoulder, hands above the elbow, right? So there it is, 1, 2, 3. Okay. Also notice his left arm's driving back. And the big thing is that gives him position to pull down on the ball and come across, which gives you a nice gyro or a spiral. Here's another picture. So just so you know, when I found these pictures, I looked for Caleb Williams throwing. And these are the first images we got. Even with his sidearm, notice his shoulder and hips are at that angle. So his elbow still basically at the shoulder height and his hands above that, which is also so the idea is that he's still throwing over the shoulder, even though he's at an angle, right? He's side arming it to a certain extent. Here's a great example of being pronated. So see how his hand's rotating over the top? That way we know he's putting a natural spiral on the ball. He's not faking it, right? Coming up over the top and forward, nice internal rotation, pronation. Caleb. Same thing, right? 1, 2, 3. Nice wrist on the ball, right? It's going to keep a nice tight spiral if you have a strong wrist. Right? See his position? His knuckles are a little bit turned in, right? He's kind of flexing his wrist just a little bit. Just giving a nice strong hand, but that allows him to push through the point of the ball. Again, right here, look at that. Wrist is in a good position. You're allowed to put a nice solid spiral on the ball. Again, look at the position. Wrist. Strong. You see how it's slightly flexed in there? Moving on to Bo Nix. Oh man. Same thing here. Elbow above the shoulder. Hand above the elbow. Coming down and across. Him at Auburn. Good position. Coming up over the top. Oh, same thing here. Off balance throw. Off his back foot though. Elbow above his shoulder. Hand above that. Again, another good picture right here. These are just pictures you put Bo Nix throwing, and these are the pictures of the first ones. The first 3 or 4 of them that you find. Here's Riley Leonard. Good position. Elbow above the shoulder. Coming up over the top, right? Vertical throwing motion. Good wrist position. Internal rotation. So this is after the throw, the follow through. Again, Notice rotating over, putting a natural spiral on the ball. Even when he's off balance, still doing it. It's ingrained. Now, Michael Penix Jr., there's the issue. Elbow below the shoulder. That's putting all that pressure on that left elbow. And it's going to cause him to come across his body. It's just so much pressure on that elbow, man. Again, same positions. Problem. And I'll make note again. These are just pictures. You just Google search it. These are the first ones that come up of him throwing. Here's another problem. So this is how he darts it, right? So he's got a vertical arm in front of him, right? But he's bent there. So his forearm is doing the work forward. But that arm in this position is a problem. It needs to be further up, right? At this point, it needs to be extended out. That way you can come across the body and come down and across. Natural follow through. Yikes. Ticking time bomb. And that's the thing, right? When you're going to come across your body. Now, when I looked for like a release and tried to find a video, that's what his follow through looks like. So he's putting spin on the ball, and from this case, he's lefty from left to right by undercutting the ball, putting spin on the bottom of the ball, not down the side. That's what it's supposed to look like. All right, let's look at Bo Nix now. Good throw, solid. Again, this is the thing about Bo Nix for me is that I don't see any glaring issues, and that's why some people still have him above Michael Penix Jr. My only thing about that is I think Michael probably handles the offense a little bit better right now. I think his vision, I think his ability to make chemistry with his receivers. I'm not saying Bo doesn't have that, but it's just everything's good. It's medium. It's okay. It's like a safe quarterback. Is he a big playmaker? Not sure. Now, Riley Leonard is a playmaker. He's still very raw, though. But in terms of, like, making, giving time for his receivers to get open and making space and picking up yards with his own legs, he's probably one of the best ones in the whole entire draft. Now, I'll remind you, like, Michael Penix Jr., wide receivers, you ready? Rome Odunze, again, one of the top 3 receivers in the draft. Jalen McMillan, a second, third rounder. Jalen Polk, a second or third rounder. Can you guys name me who the Duke wide receivers are? Right? I mean, Drake's got some guys, but it's basically his tight end's the real guy. I mean, Nesbitt, I think it is, yeah. So, sorry I'm not really talking too much about Leonard here, but it's just like the guy's got good legs, got good instincts, he knows when to keep the ball, he's got a decent arm, doesn't make too many mistakes, right? But look, you got somebody coming in, yep, get away from it. That might be something the Patriots might need. Somebody that can get away. This guy, Notre Dame is gonna, they got in on him quick, and he was still making plays. Notre Dame has a good defensive line. The Northwestern throw. That guy was getting blown back. Good throw. Anyway. All right. Of course, we're going to do some drafts here, some mock drafts. Patriots are currently going to they're picking 6th. Yes, it's possible to be one win at this point in the season and be 6th because everybody else is just as bad, and the strength of our schedule is moving us down to 6 because everybody else still stinks despite having an easier schedule. That being said, if you're picking 6th, there's essentially no way, if you pick at 6, to get Drake or Caleb. Marvin Harrison Jr. is definitely going to be out. Probably one of the 2 tackles, if not both, Olu Vashanu or Joe Alt will be out, and possibly Brock Bowers. So picking 6th is actually right in that area where, yeah, you'll probably get one of those guys, chances are. But then you're going to be looking, probably right after that would be either somebody being desperate to pick up another quarterback, or somebody starting to pick away at Keon Coleman or Malik Neighbors, or if you're really looking for defense. Now, here's the crazy part. Everybody in here could use just about everything. Even basically everybody here on out could use just about everything. There's nobody that's saying, like, I don't need a quarterback on this side. I mean, yeah, Jordan Love, maybe. Yeah, I know these guys just got a rookie, but they're not even picking, so that doesn't matter. But everybody on this side would be considering picking up a quarterback, offensive tackle, tight ends. There's really nobody here that has an elite. Yeah, like nobody here really has an elite tight end. I mean, yeah, they have a good one. All these guys could use left tackles, quarterbacks. So it's going to be an interesting draft because there might be a race for the really, really top dark blue chips here. So we lucked out. So they took Leatu, which I don't hate. That gives us Olufashanu. So we'll do we're not doing any trades on this one. We're just going to see what we get, like from all our picks, not moving around at all, right? So we got 5 rounds right now. We don't have the full 7, but so even if we're going to take a quarterback at some point in this draft, we're still gonna have to get a tackle, and it's a deep class. It really is. But to me, between these two guys, this guy's got huge his ceiling's way up there. Joe's still got some ceiling to go to, but he's much more refined. I don't see him making as many mistakes. But when Olu's on, man, that guy can move and it's aggressive. So I'm going to go with Olu. And we'll see what we have for quarterbacks in a second here. So Riley Leonard's still up, so I'm going to go with that. Nothing against J.J. McCarthy right now, but to me, he's more of a third-rounder in my opinion. Going over some other ideas, like Shador's almost definitely not coming out. Michael Pratt, I got to keep looking at it, but he's actually pretty good. I like him. Jaden Daniels to me is solid, but he's definitely undersized. Just making notes on these guys. Obviously, it's not complete report on them, but that's just my views. I like him, but him in the third. Michael Pratt might be a good second rounder. Quinn Ewers, if he shows up, might be a decent second rounder. Joe Milton's. Cam Ward, I think, is the only guy that's really being he's my deep dark horse. I'm not sure if he's even going to come out this year, but he's the only guy. Him and Michael Pratt are the only two guys that I could see possibly making a good bid to be a second rounder. And if Cam really shows up and these guys have good pro days and good combines, if they show up to that, might be able to push themselves to a fringe first rounder. I mean, some of these guys have never really had great supporting casts around them, you know. Joe Milton I love, and same thing with KJ Jefferson. Joe Milton, if we can get him in the third or fourth round, I'd love it. But we're going to go with Riley Leonard now. Joe Milton's arm is insane. So here comes the questions now. We've got a tackle. Do we go for another tackle? But now we need to start looking at actual weapons to throw to, right? So let's start off with wide receivers. So he'll be gone. Our next is 106. Brian Thomas Jr. Wow, you guys are high on him now, huh? He looks good. Torrey Horton I'd like. Troy Franklin still getting disrespect. I still have him as a fringe first rounder. Jalen McMillan's in the second. That's fine. Roman Wilson in the third. I'd take that. So if we can get him next round, that's a value pickup. Same thing with Jamari, DeCorian, Ricky Pearsall in the fourth. Moose Muhammad in the fourth. So to me, and this is on the assumption that Like, we have a feeling that's the way these other people are going to draft. Now, I know it's PFF handling it, and they're just doing it by rank, right? That's what they're going to do, and that's fine. J. Michael, I think I would consider doing, but let's see what we got for tight end here. Jaheim Bell's the next dude. Let's just clear it up. Jaheim Bell, Kate Stover, I like him. He's solid. Trey Knox, Brian Nesbitt. Oh, they finally Brevin Spanford in there. They have him at 188. That's nuts. I had him as a 4th rounder. He's good too. There's a few other guys that need to be put on here. Obviously, I have a longer list than they do, but I'm surprised they're dragging their heels on them. So do we go with another? Oh, Zion Nelson. They have him really low. I was wondering when they'd add him. This guy was almost like last year before he got injured, and the year before. They have Javon Foster at this. Oh my gosh! So we're gonna hold off on tackles. I can still pick a Blake Fisher next round. Okay, so maybe we do. Let's see what we have. See if like right now I would go with Rook. If I can get Rook right now in the 3rd round, it's crazy. Byron Murphy in the 3rd. They're moving him up. That's nice. He's a good linebacker. All right, so Ray Davis. Yeah, they're starting to fill in some of these good names here. I had a video a long time about, like, I would say long, it was like about a month ago, or if not more, about the top, like, 1,000 I had. And people were like, there was a few names I had in there. People were like, oh, I've never heard of those guys. It's like, well, now look. Now look what we're looking. You know, they're on here. And they're not only on there, the top 100s. Making fun of my Ray Davis. And Kiran. I mean, people are like, oh, good tackle from Yale. It's like, yeah. Okay. Go watch them, and then you'll see. And now look, PFF's got him on here. But Rook here, we have to get something defensive there, and our defensive line is embarrassing right now. All right, so I'm gonna go with DeCorian here. I'd like to get he's the top he's the leader in sacks right now, still in FBS, but I have to go with DeCorian Clark. And then we'll have to pick up a tight end, I think. I'm not freaking out about any of this. Still can get Joe Milton in the 5th round. See what I'm talking about? You can get Zach Frazier. We can get Luke here. Beautiful. We'll take those. If we can get Javon Foster in like the 4th or 5th round, I'm telling you, like, that's crazy. Just start selling the team and get me draft picks, guys. Get me draft picks. Get me draft picks. All right, so now what should we do here? We're going to try to trade up. We'd have to be number 3, right? So 6, 4, and then what else are we going to have to give up? Probably I was going to say probably a 3rd. Well, we could do this. They put Brendan Rice in there finally, and they have him in a decent spot. Now, Brendan is just like his dad in that he's a good, well-rounded wide receiver. Like, problem right now is that we need offensive linemen. The offensive line, to me, like, in this case, Once you get to about here, it starts to weaken up. I mean, yeah, Javon Foster and Zion Nelson, Jack Nelson, these guys are solid, but it's just my issue with that is not that this is where like, oh, I think these guys should probably be ranked here, and I'm not saying I'm going with the rank. I'm messing this up, which is I think all these guys are probably, well, Joshua Gray probably not, but probably down to Zion. You're looking at these guys all possibly going before the 4th round this year. Because the offensive line, the offensive tackle free agency class is crap this year. And it's not saying anything bad about the guys. It's just not deep. Like, Trent Brown's going to be one of the top offensive tackle free agents this offseason. So, if we trade him, we're going to have to trade him and be dead set on getting a tackle in the draft in replacement. So, it's a kind of rough situation there. All right, so I think I'm going to have to. Tyler Guyton, I think I have him as a right tackle, but I think they moved him to left. For me, Kingsley's a little bit better. I like Kingsley better. I've been liking Kingsley since basically, before the season even started. So I'm going to go with Kingsley. And then I'll take Brendan. I think that's a really safe bet for us. J. Michael's a little more explosive. Should be willing to trade back for J. Michael. No, I think we're looking for the steady wide receiver that knows what they're doing. I'm kind of going against my own top picks now. So that's one. It leaves us 106. Do I get the right tackle with Blake Fisher? Do I pick up DeCorian Clark? Should probably go with the wide receiver again. Tight ends. Kate Stover would be a good pickup too, but I keep going to DeCorian, but maybe I should think Ricky Pearsall. Well, they have Gabriel Murphy in there now. Will Shipley at 124 is nuts. Moose Muhammad. Yeah, I think I'm going to have to go to DeCorian. It's just a smart move. Just really, we can't miss on a wide receiver this year. It's like a year where it's so deep that, I mean, if we have so many extra draft picks this year, just pick up dudes in like the 6th, 7th rounds that have some sort of upside, and hopefully we get out of like 2-3 wide receiver picks this year, you get something else out of it. That's a good draft in my opinion. I wouldn't hate that, and it's unlikely, but we'd probably have to pick up one defensive player at some point in here, because it's getting concerning. We need another edge rusher, especially if we trade away Uche. All right, let's do one more, and this one might be extensive, but just bear with me. All right, so let's do this. I did this, I think, with the wide receivers. I did a lot. I just tried to see what we got for what we have. Crazy how that goes. I'll take the 200 though. I'd probably do 1 for 1 though. Let's just be. Who would want that? thinking that needs that? Eagles. I did get 2 for Uche, I think. Yeah. All right, so that should help us out. Still gonna get a shot at Riley Leonard. I'll take that all day. Him in the second to me is just, regardless if you think he's gonna be starter or not, I think it's just a necessity. So I'm gonna go with Rook again. So I think Trey Harris to me is probably a better option as a wide receiver. I do like Jaden Hicks right now at 99 though for safety. Let's take a look at safeties left. James Williams, Cole. See, like I wouldn't mind. He's like more of a strong safety. So if we lose Duggar, we can get James Williams in there. And then for free safety, like both of these guys, like Lathan Ransom's good too, but these guys if you can get them later on, that's fine. That's if they're gonna be the Jalen Simpson's good too, but I like Cole Bishop probably a little bit more. And same thing with Malachi. Edge. We need to see what's going on with edge here. I think I do like Kamara as an edge player. Gabriel Murphy's good. Jordan Birch later on would probably be my big pick for us, but he's a little bit more redundant. If we need a speed guy, Nelson Caesar's pretty quick. Steve Linton is impressive too, but Mohammed's probably the better pick there. I like him as a corner too. There's some value here. Tight ends still have Jaheim Bell, Cade Stover. These guys later on. Sorry that I'm going through this. Let's actually look at interior offensive line. He can play tackle as well. I love him. He's my favorite guard. So let's do this. We don't need to pick up a guard. We might if Cole Strange is just a complete bust, though. Bryce Foster later on. So not a big pressure there. I'm liking that they're finally giving this guy some. He's a bowling ball. He's fast, but he's ultra powerful. So we have to go wide receiver and then probably... Yeah, we'll do that. So we'll do... Actually, let's do Trey Harris. Or do we go Jalen or Roman? I think Trey's probably a better option. Do we get a shot at Kamara? We missed him. Shoot. Not the end of the world. Because that gives us at least another shot at... I don't want to take Thrash at this point. We could take Blake Fisher. Junior Colson's impressive too. Tyler Davis, I have to watch a little more on him. Smail Mondon, that's that linebacker that I've been dying to get. Coverage linebacker. Him at Sandsterling. Okay, Makuba down at 127. All right, we might have a shot at somebody else that we might want later on, but tackles, I think we're losing some here. So I'm going to go with Blake Fisher. Get that line taken care of for the most part. We still have Brew McCoy. I'm good there. Kate Stover. We'll get what we want here. So I'm going to go with Brew. That ankle's probably done. His ankle injury is really of concern right now. wide receiver class that they have in here kind of really weakens up. There's more wide receivers like, oh, yeah, I'd probably take Gadsden. Or Julian Fleming, he's also really good. He's good too. So there's, this is just classic PFF being a little... PFF is probably, unless Brew McCoy really has like some great updates, I can't imagine taking him in the 4th with that ankle if we needed him. If we needed somebody next year. Kate Stover, yeah, he's probably the best option here. He played both sides of the ball technically too. I'd like to pick up Cooper too. Right, let's just do that. What's the smarter options here? Keith Randolph at 148. I'm telling you guys, we just need as much draft capital as possible here. Caesar. I think we might go with him. We need edge at some point, and he's solid. Tyron Hopper, yes. Ooh, nice. He's in here now. Cam Ward at 160s. Even Javon. Just these names down here is like. I wouldn't mind these. Like Jordan Birch in the 3rd round last year would have been amazing. Oh gosh. All right, let's just round this off. I can't pass on him. Guy's freak. That was a good draft. I like that one. All right, so take home, we still need a lot more draft capital. I also need PFF to grade my draft a little bit quicker than this. What did I get? D? Got A-. They don't like my Kate Stover pickup. The idea here would be we pick up more wide receivers in the last half. It's deep. There's a few guys that I like at the top. There's a decent amount of guys in the middle. But the way PFF just runs through it, they have that cluster of really good wide receivers that are basically between 90-something and like 130-something. So by the time I got the, basically Kate Stover, the Blake Fisher pick is out of necessity. Like, we just have to pick up tackles. We have to get 2 tackles, and Blake Fisher's in the 4th round value-wise is a steal in my opinion. Like, you can probably... I wouldn't be surprised if Blake Fisher finds his way to being drafted in like maybe late 2nd, 3rd round. So getting him in the 4th to me is a value pick, and it's what we need. Young guys that are not dinged up, but that's a good one. And we got deep. He's good. He's really impressive in my opinion. Nelson Caesar, I like. Well, I gotta watch some more tape on him. He might be really moving up on my board. And then Tyron Hopper, you guys probably don't know him. Might be the first time you've heard of him, but I think he might have the most sacks and tackles for linebacker. I have to look that up, but he's had a great season thus far. All right, let's go to one last pick, and we're going to do the unthinkable, which everybody hates, which is trading back because somebody really might want this. And we are going on the idea that this draft is really deep, and the more that we have, the better. Because if you give me a 6th, and that'll be ridiculous. But let's say you can give me a 3rd next year and a 2nd. Wow, you guys really like this draft. It's a long. Let's just do that. That's how good you guys... what are we doing here? This is impressive. Whatever. This is just I guess. I mean, it's a lot of spots, but it's just because they grade it. They grade it that way. So this is what I would do here: is go with J.C. Latham. You might hate what I just did, but I'll prove to you that this is a viable approach here. Jalen Polk at 52 is a little... I'm not sure about that. All right, so we'll go with Kingsley. We can hopefully get Kingsley or Tyler. So let's do... We're having a shot. I mean, Jeremiah Trotter Jr., I'm not big. I like, but I just don't like the idea of picking right now. I'm serious. Even though I think he's like borderline first round talent, I just can't pull the trigger on a running back like until like the third round. Oh, Princely's on here. Oh man, he's good. He's good. He's good at 63. That's tempting. But he's a unique player. I'm going to go with him. All right, so left and right tackle towards the top. We got a wide receiver. Got our second wide receiver. Now it's time to go defense. And then look for... I don't have Howard Cross above Kamara, but I'm going to go there. Oh, they're starting the grades on here, too. Look at that. 10 sacks in 2023 already. Look at that. Nuts. PFF is starting to fill in here. Okay. Smail Mondon's probably a good pickup. Makuba is also another solid pickup here. I probably have to go. Wow, linebacker. Eesh. Well, let's say this. Mac. Isn't Mac going to be gone? Yeah, I think he'll be gone, so you're going to have to get a good coverage linebacker. Picking up Makuba would be a good pickup. Moose Muhammad at 128 is a steal. Tyleek at 130 is a steal. So we can, all right, we'll do the tight end next, but I think we got to go with the linebacker here. Just finally get a linebacker that can be fast, can do coverage. I know people think that Marte Mapu can do that. Maybe. I'm not overly convinced, though. And if I can get Andrew Makuba right now, I am picking him up. Safety and corner. We're done. Dude, get him at 143 is insane. That's insane. Absolutely. This draft is... Oh, now here's the other thing. We don't know if any of these guys are, like... Majority of these guys don't have to declare for the draft. But if what PFF has in there now actually shows up, maybe I've just watched too much tape and I've fallen in love with how deep this class has gotten, but oh my gosh. Now, I did that, like, that, and I don't think this is realistic, but I think probably, even if you gave me this and then maybe the second or third next year, forget the fourth rounder, but if you can give me technically 3 extra picks, right? Because you're swapping back, and I could still get J.C. Latham. So, to me, is the difference between Joe Olufushanu, right, and J.C. Latham worth a second, a third, a fourth, and then assuming that, yes. If you can get me a second and a third for going from one of those two guys down to J.C. Latham, absolutely. Because if we just look at it, we picked up a wide receiver out of it. Actually picked up 2 wide receivers out of trading back. Right? And he's like Deebo Samuel number 2, and J. Michael Sturdivant is a legitimate X receiver. Now, he's not a wide receiver 1, which to me means you can put that wide receiver in any spot, right? Alpha wide receiver. Now, could he develop into that? Yes, but right out of the box, just a solid X perimeter guy. Young, good hands. He drops the ball here and there, but it's mostly focus. It's things that he can work on, but in terms of like actually like his technique and securing the ball, it's pretty good. His hands just start off sometimes a little bit too wide, and he just loses focus. But that's technique things. It's things that can be cleaned up. He's a young dude. Again, FBS leader in sacks. Quick, fast, and powerful. Very comprehensive edge guy. He's not just one or the other. Smail Mondin, coverage linebacker. We just need to get more. Still need to get actually like linebacker-sized individuals that play linebacker who are very good at coverage. And even if you think Marte Mapu is that guy, like we still need. I don't think Smail Mondin is the guy who has the versatility of Mapu, who can play both deep and at the linebacker level, whereas Smail, I think, is much more at the linebacker level, which is why I'd pick him up in the 4th and not like the 3rd. And Andrew Makuba in the 5th round is absurd. Guy's blazing fast, expected to do like a 4.3. I doubt he'll be there. I think he'll probably shoot up on the board towards the end of the season once we get all the combines and pro days done. Anyway, so that's it. I know this is a very long video. To talk it over again one more time, and I guess just to have a conversation about quarterbacks in general. I don't think, people are probably sitting here like, why is PFF not, have, Penix and Bo Nix so high on the board? Well, it goes to just the depth of this class in general, the draft class overall. Like Kool-Aid McKinstry as a corner is better than Michael Penix is as a quarterback. Malik Neighbors, same thing there. Still better. All these guys are better, right? Getting down into here, maybe you can make a, where do they show up? Yeah, so this is where you can probably start throwing in the Bo Nixes and Penixes in terms of how good they are at their actual position, and the value of their position can probably start flooding up into the 20s. You're probably going to get somebody, starting even in this area is probably going to be looking at Bo Nix or Michael Penix to possibly find a spot in here. But then once you get to the top half, you might actually get the idea, like these guys are like, well, do we really need a Riley Leonard, or do we need a Adonai Mitchell or a Marius Mims or Xavier Worthy or a corner, or Xavier Legette? These guys. You might think that Riley Leonard's worth a 1st-round pick, but you're also looking at what your needs are. Like Tyler Nubin, you get these like Amika Ibuka in the 24. That's nuts. That guy would have been a top 5 pick probably last year. Maybe at least top 10. So you get into the point where it's like, we need needle movers, and the Patriots over the last several drafts have, their 1st-round pick has been what's needed. But it's been sometimes out of necessity, but not like, oh yeah, we need that guy. Well, no, it's been like, we don't have a guard. We don't have a quarterback. Well, we did, but I think everybody knew that Cam was done. But, this time we're going in, we're needing everything. And a lot of the teams they'll take whatever is the best needle movers. Think about what the Eagles did. The Eagles picked a bunch of guys that were just really good, right? They didn't need those, for the most part, they didn't need those guys. They didn't need them. They went out and what'd they get? 3 first-round picks or whatever last year? No, 2. Yeah, 2 or 3. But they traded up. But, they went and got just good players. Guys they didn't really necessarily need. But they're needle movers. And now they're playing. And they're good. So my point to that is, don't be surprised if, even though people think that Michael Penix Jr. and Bo Nix are going to go in the top half of this draft, you got to convince you know, the GM and the coach that they should be passing on these guys. I don't know. It's a deep wide receiver class, and it's very, very good at the top. And these guys, I mean, would Penix probably be a #1 overall pick some years? Maybe. Because, you know, people just need to start, you know, throwing as many times as they can, you know, every time. Some teams are just like, you're bad, you're drafting a quarterback. You're just taking a shot. Because even if you drafted one a year or two ago, you need some competition. Like, you need to start, you know, as many rounds as possible in the chamber to figure out who's your quarterback going to be. Now, for the Patriots, you have a first-round pick that you used. The guy is obviously not elevating his team. He's in a rough position. You can do this strategy of, well, let's do this. Let's see if we can get a good quarterback, but let's see if we can get some guys to help him out, right? That can really help him out, even if we miss. Because the worst thing you can do is actually draft, like, the worst thing is if we draft Penix, right, at 6, and holy crap, the guy's, like, physically so destroyed. He has terrible throwing mechanics, and the guy is good because, look, Roma Dunze. Let's just do this right now. Roma Dunze. Jalen Polk, 2nd round, right? Jalen McMillan they have down, what's that, 3rd, 4th? So, yeah. But that's the point, though. Like, look at all these wide receivers. Like, the only person that's been picked right now as wide receiver has been Marvin Harrison Jr. But look how many are in the top half, right? See any guys from, I mean, we have to get down to what? Brendan Rice at 68. There's your first Caleb guy. Where's the Drake Maye guys? Oh. Wait. You know? Now, his Nesbitt is in here, right? He's in here somewhere. Yeah, there's Nesbitt. He's good, by the way. Oh my gosh, they have Hayden Hatton in here. Yo, nice job, PFF. Small, he's like my sleeper. Now everybody knows about him. Damn. Gosh. I was like, that was going to be like our 7th round pick. Dude's good. Yeah, notice anybody that's Riley Leonard out there? No. Riley basically has Graham Barton as his only. Guy's good. Good tackle. Probably be a good center at the NFL level. Yeah, anybody else really to talk about? That's... I got a good running back there, but he's good too. Oh my gosh, if we can get Carson Steele at 191, incredible. See, like that's the guy I would target late rounds, or if we can really get Will Shipley in the 4th or 5th. That's, I don't think that's gonna happen, but maybe. I mean, Raheem Sanders was, I think, and same thing with Williams, were kind of like definitely top 100 picks earlier this year. He showed up. Trey Benson's been floating there. Braylon's been in the top 50 a few times. I like how they're giving Ray Davis some respect. But again, point being is, you know, Quinn Ewers has plenty of weapons. J.J. McCarthy has plenty of weapons. Anybody else to talk about in there? Jane Daniels obviously has Malik Neighbors, Jordan Travis. Sorry for this long video, but you know, Jordan Travis has good time. He has weapons. Shador has actually solid weapons. Michael Pratt really doesn't. Jane Daniels does. Quinn Ewers has outstanding guys to throw to. Jordan Travis has absurd people to work around him in terms of weapons. Spencer Rattler really doesn't. I mean, Leggette's good, but that's about it. Anybody else? Oh, they have Trey Knox too. They have a couple tight ends. So Spencer has some guys. Joe Milton has a good cast around him. Jefferson doesn't. Hartman has a decent. Cam Ward really doesn't have anything. Tyler Van Dyke does. Devin Leary, wow. Maybe I have to start watching Devin Leary. I don't realize I don't have him. All right, we'll have to do some Devin Leary look up on him. But all right, I'll end it there. Sorry for the long, spiel. This is gonna be what, an hour and a half probably video. If you made this far, congratulations, you guys are awesome. I think the take home here is that we have Caleb and Drake really at the top, and that QB3. I wouldn't be surprised. I'm not joking. If I look at how these guys play, I wouldn't be surprised if it's 1, 2, 3. Michael Pratt would be a stretch, and the QB3 would kind of depend on, all right, are they top 10 picks? I think Riley Leonard could convince enough somebody to take him in the top 10. Penix and Bo Nix, same thing there. Those guys could be top 10 picks. JJ, I'd be surprised if he makes it in the first round. Michael Pratt might make a case through his testing. I think he's good enough. And then the real crazy dark horse is Cam Ward. If he finishes up strong and he has, if he decides to go into the draft, he might shoot up all the way to the third round. Or to be QB3. Crazy enough. I think he's got enough on him. I think he has enough. But I think I'll do another video on those guys sometime in the next few weeks. Anyway, if you like my content, please like and subscribe. And as always,